The U.S. economy is in a complete flux right now. Credit card delinquencies are at a decade high, commercial real estate is collapsing, and banks are shutting down branches nationwide. Massive layoffs are happening, consumer confidence is dropping, and housing affordability is at its worst. Even major retailers are filing for bankruptcy. The signs are everywhere. This is just the beginning of a much, much, much deeper economic crisis. Let's talk about this. Right, I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to just take a quick minute to share some thoughts in reference to an article that came out this week that would have flown under the radar had it not been for one of the community members that sent it to me. Just basically bringing more attention to the true economic conditions that Main Street is experiencing. And so I had a chance to connect with the author a while ago. And so, as always, Michael Snyder does a good job of articulating real world situations in a very short and concise manner on his blog, the Economic Collapse blog. And so this is just an interview that I did with Michael, I think it was about 2-3 years ago, in reference to one of his latest books that is very, thought provoking to say the least. But what I wanted to do this morning was just basically check in, share some thoughts, read through this article, just highlighting what he considers to be 11 of, the true indicators as to how bad the economy really is. And so once again, it's not designed to, scare or to just be more doom and gloomish, but just to be real and share with, the average person what's really going on, given that people who are in the alternative media space, they pay close attention to these events. So they're more aware as well as more proactive in doing things, whether it be small little steps to protect and preserve and to basically just insulate themselves as best as they can from the current reset that's underway. And so I just want to jump into the article, share some thoughts, read through it a little bit, and just highlight some of the things that Michael referenced here. And so as you can see here, it says 11 signs that the U.S. economy is in far worse shape than most people think. So this came out a couple of days ago, as I mentioned, and I thought I would take a minute and just read through a little bit and just basically talk over some things that he highlighted here. So real quick here, I'll just thumb through as best I can. It says, unless you're living under a bridge, you are eagerly drinking the Kool-Aid that the mainstream media is dishing out. You probably understand that the economy has been struggling. Survey after survey has found that the American people are deeply dissatisfied with how the economy has been performing. And as a result, it has become the number one issue this election season. It says, but even though a large portion of the population is not happy about how things have been going, the truth is that the situation is far more dire than most people realize. It says, just this week, we received quite a bit of very troubling news, and the outlook for the months ahead is very bleak. The following are 11 signs the U.S. economy is in far worse shape than most people think. Then it goes on to say, number one, just like in 2008, the delinquencies are on the rise. In fact, credit card delinquencies have now reached the highest level that we've seen in more than 10 years. Number two, the commercial real estate crisis just continues to escalate. An article that originally appeared in the New York Times claims that the major Wall Street banks have begun offloading their portfolios of commercial real estate loans, hoping to cut their losses. Number three, when the banks get in trouble, they are shutting down branches. So far this year, U.S. banks have closed more than 400 branches all over the country. Number four, big companies are laying off workers from coast to coast. For example, approximately 500 Texas truckers just lost their jobs when a large logistics company abruptly shut their doors for good. Then he goes on to give some quotes from the sources. Number five, the Dallas Fed Services Index has now been in negative territory for 25 months in a row. As we can see here, it says Dallas Fed respondent blasts poor national leadership as stagflation erodes business confidence. And so here's the actual chart he's referring to right here of just showing how, as it says, consecutive months, almost years now of contracting business activity here. So definitely not a good sign. And then number six, it says the restaurant apocalypse just continues to intensify. This week, we learned that the Hooters has suddenly decided to permanently shut down close to 40 underperforming locations. Then he goes on to share some thoughts from articles. Number seven, retail chains continue to go belly up at a staggering rate. Today was beginning reported that the two largest retailers in the Northeast have made a decision to file for bankruptcy. And then the source is sports goods chains that operates across 7 states sparks fears of closures after filing for bankruptcy. Bob's Stores, never heard of them, but clearly more proof of economic contagion is spread throughout the country. Then number 8, it says we just learned the consumer confidence in the U.S. dropped lower this month. And so he's citing America's felt shakier, the economy in June. Then he cites the source here from CNN, says U.S. consumer confidence teetering slightly in June as Americans grew a little wary about the future. New data released Tuesday shows as Confidence Board's latest consumer confidence index dipped to 100.4 in June from a downwardly revised level of 101.3 in May. Yeah. Number 9, it says that the initial consumer confidence reading has been revised down in 7 of the last 8 months. Consumer confidence has been revised. As we see what that looks like, 7 of the last 8 has been revised down. Wow. That's number 10. Housing in the U.S. is now more unaffordable than it has ever been before. And then he cites an article from CNBC says, here's how bad housing affordability is now. Prices in April rose 6.3% compared with April 2023, according to S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Price Index. Says home prices are now 47% higher than they were in early 2020, with the median sale price now 5 times the median household income. Half of all renter households, more than 22 million, spent more than 30% of their income on housing this year, which is considered cost burdened. Yeah. And number 11, the very last one here. It says, as he discussed in a previous article, the homeless population in the city of Chicago is tripled from January 2023 to January 2024. So there you have 11 of this past week's primary stories that really tell a different narrative than what they will have us believe on the mainstream media about what's really happening in Main Street or for the main economy that the average person participates in. So what that basically tells us is that we're going on 2 years now, based upon all the revisions and stuff that I just showed you, that they've been lying to us point blank to our face and able to get away with it just because the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and NASDAQ, all those indexes are at all-time highs, which gives the illusion that people are actually getting wealthier when they look at their stock portfolios and their retirement accounts and 401ks and see that they have a couple more dollars in their account today than they did a year ago. And so that gives them the delusionary confidence that everything is hunky-dory, when in actuality, the economy is contracting right now with all these layoffs, store closures, and delinquencies piling up. Tells a different story. But these are just 11 of the stories from this previous week on top of all the other things we talk about on the channel here. So once again, the goal was just to highlight one of the articles done by Michael Snyder that gives you more of the real story of what's happening in the economy, and also to encourage people to really think outside the box. It is up to you to take precautionary measures in every area of your life. Don't rely upon a politician or some type of fake debate to make it appear as if one or other candidate cares more about your well-being than the other. So one of many things that you should be doing is making sure that you have as many irons in the fire as you can to make sure you always have a consistent stream of income coming in. So whether it's a W-2 or 1099 or actually running your own business, the more streams of income you have, the longer you can withstand the crumbling of our Main Street economy. And so I look at it in 3 different categories. When it comes to earning actual fiat currency, you earn it to spend for your everyday necessities, take some so you can save, put aside in different asset classes, whether it be for investment vehicles or just actual cash on hand for emergency sakes. And then number 3, speculation, taking some crumbs after the fact, put them in things that are extremely undervalued now, and allow the monetary manipulation to continue to run its course. Because ultimately, when they cut back on the spigot, all those funds are going to flow to the lowest levels first, which are the assets that have been intentionally suppressed or have yet to become a mainstream topic that the world will flood to at the next popular trend that might take off, such as the metaverse and all those decentralized crypto protocols that are being built right now. And then lastly, the importance of continuing to stack and save in the most undervalued asset, monetary asset, might I add, and silver. And so one of the things I've done on top of educating and encouraging people to get their weight up, I'm actually putting together the RTD Silver Team right now, where the goal is to help people automate their accumulation of their silver on a monthly basis. And by becoming a member of the community, you now have an entity as a 1099 contractor where you now have a bullion store where you can actually share your information with others, help them stack their weight, and then you also get compensated for your efforts in helping people save in real sound money while getting your own stack up. And just to show you what that looks like, here we have the RTD Silver Team. Here's proof in the pudding right here as I speak. As you can see here, this is a starter kit, just something to get you started. And as you add to your stack, you fill up your case and you go back for more. You repeat the process over and over and over again, and that's called creating a silver standard for yourself. But anyway, if you're interested in joining the RTD Silver Team, click the link in the description, get more of my take on the subject matter, join the community, work with me personally, because my goal is to help reach 1,000 households of duplicating this entire process so they can stack, share, save, and earn all at the same time. But anyway, just wanted to bring this to you today. Curious to hear your thoughts on this. If you found value, hit that thumbs up button, share this so more people can find out what's really going on, and hopefully take some action along the way. Catch you guys later.